I'm Rod Duff, your host.
And I'm producer Barbie.
And together,
we bring you our podcast,
Insights and Straight Talk. And with that, producer Barbie and I are out. And I'm right back in here. And I'm going to say something, you guys. I know I'm going to get a little business for this, but I am so excited and I'm serious. And I know that comes across pretty often lately. And somebody's got to be asking to themselves, how can it be pretty exciting? Like every time you go on the podcast. We've been around for a little bit now. Some of you have been with us for, into last year. And we're already increasing. People are thirsting for the information. For instance, we do a lot of different, well, not a lot. We do a block of different needs and concerns of the great middle class. And I tell this story about when let's see, how would I put this? So back in the 80s, 90s time frame, elder Americans, aging Americans, there was within that body of great American middle class, of the great American middle class, within that body, there was high depression, anxiety, there was high feelings of loneliness. I mean, let's look at it. I mean, at that time, their kids, and it's not like physically cut off, but they live outside the world as it operates now. And that was difficult and scary, very scary and impossible and not embarrassing so much as, because at that time, technology jumped a huge way. So now I continually think about that, but people at that time that look like me, they had all those challenges in what should be the most graceful and beautiful part of their life. At least from my experience so far, it kind of is. Well, it is. Depending on your age, that same vibe, that same energy, that same desire, the same curiosity needs to continue and should continue, because we have the tools within us to make these changes. So back to what I was saying, I talked to a lot of people, and about a year ago or so, so I was at one of my granddaughter's birthdays, and my son and that's not right. I was at one of my grandchild's birthdays, and Brandon's wife, Lauren, and her mom, and a bunch of other people were there. But it was interesting because, well, these kind of conversations are always interesting. But in this example, Lauren's mom and I were sitting next to each other, and we were chit-chatting. We're probably the elder generations in the room, maybe a couple more scattered around, but great people, great life. They live in Texas. They're awesome. But as I was having that conversation with Lauren's mom, sweet, wonderful, smart, elderly, gray-haired woman, you just have the picture. And same as me, but she was very. So we got into, somehow, I don't remember, we got into a conversation about AI and automation, and and we do a number of shows with that subject, automation, AI for aging Americans. We'll get into that in a second. But where this all comes from is many different examples of this. But this was a second or third family member that struggles with this subject. Is literally scared of it. I mean, it's like needing to learn German next week. It's a whole new language. And nothing, if anybody out there from Germany's listen, I just meant a different language. So the thing is we have to figure this out, because are we going to be like the people back in the 80s and 90s that were aging? And because this is going to be a considerable life is going to be a considerable difference, and it's coming at us pretty quick. I use the description. My dogs are over there playing. I use the description that aging Americans are looking at the coming wave of AI, automation, this new life, because it's not like it's 20 years away. It's already here. Not really a big effect, except for one thing you'll notice, ladies and gentlemen, is younger people are working more efficiently. So one of the questions, will AI, I've been getting a lot of questions because of the things that we do. And with her conversation saying that she's scared of it. I mean, literally. And I get it. I mean, so am I, or not. So was I. I mean, I use a lot of automation now. I have studied and researched because I needed to build some automation stuff, not for this purpose that we're going to talk about in a minute, but through that process, I started to discover the things that, and I stepped foot into that next younger generation's world. I'm still got a foot in there. It's a different world, folks. It is, and it's not a freaky different world kind of thing, but it's a different world that talks and works and is efficient in ways that we could have never imagined. I was taught as I was closing out my contracts on the machinery business. I come from that bit. It's not like I've been doing this all my life, but I come from the machinery business. A couple different people I've talked to in the last couple of weeks. I canceled my last contract like a month ago because I had started this, once a week maybe. Kind of thing, because it's an important message, but all of a sudden everything started to take off on me. But my conversation with Lou is one of the conversations. Good for him, Mike, good guy. And he's he and I were talking. It's like, how are we going to salespeople? How are we? Really, what you have in that world is you have a bunch of up to 40. And then 65 and older, there was that area that the families weren't there was things happening that caused that to be true. And you can figure them out. But my point is, we're talking about this, and Lou said, in the future, starting right now, we're going to have to start to learn new. Now, keep in mind, these are veterans of the industry. That's probably the second or third or fourth largest industry in the world, at least also in the United States. I mean, think about it. It's plastics. Everywhere you look, there's something that you're able to use efficiently because of plastics. Yeah, I know that was a sales pitch, but it's true. There's one of my large, their name. They have larger customers. They have a presentation in their office. Huge company. You'd really know them. I'm not going to tell you though. You walk into their lobby, and then your guest comes and picks you up. I'm sorry. You as the guest, your person is coming to lead you in whatever you're doing. Just off to the right, you look at how the people of today do tiny homes. It's kind of a fad. I don't know if it's still around or not, but you look at a tiny home, exact replica, it was built a home. And you start looking at all the products that are where they usually are in a home. And you start looking around and you go, oh my God. I mean, trash bags, computers, cars. I mean, on and on and on. The car's in the garage. I don't know if they included the garage though, but you're never 7 feet. You're never 6 feet away from one of their products, which is all plastic, consumer goods. So it's an important industry. I know it. I know it's has taken some political grief lately through legislation. I'm having a tough one here through legislation, but those things are kind of turning back again because people are starting to realize whatever you guys were making us do was really stupid. And that kind of comes to some of my point here. I'm on today because we're not starting. We have for a long time been concerned with this topic, this subject. We've had, I don't know, a ton of discussions on our channel about aging gracefully, about what the world's going to look like with AI and custom automation, what the Daisy, what the world's going to look like, and like anything else, especially for, let's call it, aging Americans, for everything else, you tend to have more false impressions that aren't true. Sorry, my mouth is dry. And you have people starting to get panicked because the unknown is scary. And it goes on from there. So my point here is that the team, our little team, is, thank you, producer Barbie, and a couple other folks too. Anyway, they and I and you guys, from all the questions and now questions on the street and concern, curiosity, but concern, because what happened, like I said, what happened back then in the 80s, 90s to people like me is nothing compared to what this is going to, it's going to be that on steroids. I mean, the world, I mean, I'm getting questions all the time, like, how can I keep up with technology when technology is moving and changing so fast? Well, we go through all this, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of work if you go a traditional way. And I'm not trying to talk you out of that, but it drives me nuts. You can go to the library, you can look for authors and read books and Google stuff out there that you can try and understand information. But we're offering a new program, a new exciting community in our neighborhood that is focused on people within the middle America, aging, and really want to make their life powerful. Not only be concerned, okay, let's be not just, okay, I'm comfortable, let's be powerful on it. I have learned in ways, and thank you, my son, who got me started on this just a little while ago. I mean, I started the podcast. Our first live was September 17th last year. So in that, and the only reason I'm doing this because I'm writing a book, but in that I started needing in this new world, I'm starting to need new things, and I don't have a ton of money, so I had to do everything minus a few things of marketing that sounded better from them than me, and a couple hiring clip qualities. So that's the struggle with today's people who built this country for the next generation. They don't know us anything, but we built this. Let's go out in our golden years better because of AI. I'll tell you this story. My great great aunt, I think there's two greats in there. I'm sure there's two greats in there. She had the blue hair, she was gray, and they used to do the blue. She was amazing. She was 104 when she passed away. And in that lifetime, she went from crossing to the West in a covered wagon as a baby, her family, you know the story, all the way to seeing the first space shuttle take off or flight to space. So that was then the last 100 years. So you imagine that's up to the 90s, from the 1800s. This is going to hyperspeed that. I mean, that's an amazing set of technology, but that's not the kind of speed and effect on our lives. Like, that was an effect on our life. That was an effect on her life. That was fascinating to her, and as well as everybody else. But this is going to move a lot faster. AI is going to be the tool that runs the world. Used to be computers, and if you had a computer, you were ahead of everybody else until they got their computer. This is going to you can't even compare it to a computer. Right now, there's a couple things you got to look for. So I'm going to go to, besides the fact, the questions that we get, like how safe is AI? How can I keep up with technology, with how fast it changes? And will robots ever take over our job? So I keep getting questions and giving information. So we're putting this workshop together, and we're going to be strategizing with you in the conversation that I speak. Listen to me. This is how I speak. And I know some of you are going, what do you mean? You ever listen to somebody who's teaching somebody of a different generation how to do something? Trust me, my son's a great guy. And finally he said, look, here's what you do. I'm going to teach you like a class. And he says, he's 39. And he says, okay, because I've been begging him. I got to do this, man. Too much stuff's going on. I'm a one-man show here, and I need automation to help market some things and blah, 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 blah. So he sat me down one Sunday and over FaceTime, and we are connecting our computers, and we set up together an initial bundle of automation with different bundles, but a whole can't believe I'm forgetting the name, examples or whatever that name is. I was going to show off with my excessive knowledge, and that wasn't a good start. But anyway, we designed that, and then he said, okay, it's 90% there, 80% there. I check out these bits of information, and then come back and fix it. And then we'll get together, and I'll come back in and actually fix it. So we went through that for a little bit before May. Actually going into May, because that's when I first wrote the book. Took me about 3 weeks. This is based on the book, And so you can got to get a feel for it. It's available and ready, but this is just so busy. I can't pull away from it. I mean, literally, this is now I've evolved from equipment, the world of steel and production and manufacturing, to the world of, hey guys, we got some stuff that's coming up and we got to check it out. I've been engineering, and so I have a very big curiosity, and I'm sure everybody else feels this way, but if you don't, you need to get help and get on top of AI. Bottom line. Reason is because you're either going to get run over by AI, that description I said earlier, or you're going to create your own self life's entity, growth. I mean, you are going to be free of your old people now, with the ability and the information that's out there. Life is actually very easy, but you got to figure out how to open the door. You need the key. So I've talked to a number of other people in the industry. I used to say that when I was in the plastics world, but in the industry, and we got some stuff in industrials to as well to talk about. But let's focus right now. Aging Americans who are asking questions, have concerns, in the middle class, the great middle class. That's your entry. So, will robots and AI take over our work? Or will they take jobs away from us or our family or our neighbors? What AI is going to do is create a great deal of more efficiency in everything you do. Your personal life. I'll use me for an example. Kind of like talking about myself now, sorry. But as that example, my time, my chores, my work, my family, my enjoyment, all I use a lot of AI to do a lot of things that normally would have been at hand. So I have one of me working on marketing, right? One of me scheduling, trips and birthdays and all sorts of things that will ask you, what do you want me to do? You tell it and it accomplishes it. Ordering groceries, beep, 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 whatever. And there's a concern about robots taking over the world. Even producer Barbie, what's the name of that show? Well, the one where the robots came and the world was just getting chewed up by the robots. They've also been chewed up by the aliens too. So I don't want to be unfair in comparison, but in that one, it created a lot. God, I wish I could remember the name of it. I'm sure somebody does. The picture that was given was robots. AI is going to get to a certain point, and then they're going to take us over. They're going to be first of all, there's no way in hell that could happen in, let's see, I'm 63. Let's say 50 years. I'd be 110. That's 50 years. Now the world's moving, technology's moving, but you don't just create a robot a robot destructing army in, let's call it 30 years. Anyway, so no, they're not going to take our jobs. They're going to the job priorities are going to shift. The job priorities and what is needed out there is people who now teach the robot or do technical work in that. And that's where everything is going. And for you sales guys, I mean, I'm in my 60s and all of my buddies are, at least. And now you have a younger generation of salespeople coming in, and office managers and production managers, and on and on and on, that are younger and younger. They're getting an opportunity that was given to them, because between their age and our age, there ain't nothing. Anyway, you're competing against. You have experience. I have experience. My people, my competitors, and my allies are competing against each other. And when I say allies, I'm just making it a thing. There's not allies, but here's why. They don't know more than you. You have way more experience. You and that isn't going to change for them until they get deeper into it. But they get deeper into it well before. If you remember back, look back when you started your career, the one that built you and that you built. What started it off was information. Was the ability to complete the work and be that person. Now you're competing against people who have the same mission as you, that are half your age. You have more experience, but they have AI. They have three. Remember I said one person, their efficiency is going to make our efficiency, who haven't taken advantage of the tools of AI. That efficiency, if you haven't taken advantage of it, is going to be at least 30% less. Realistically, much more. God, I was so excited. So dry out, and it's cold in here. We're still in winter, and the damn building's air conditioning system went on. I mean, I get it. It's warm during the day and all that, but it just, and it gets cold, but I'm good. So, artificial intelligence and AI, cryptocurrency, blockchain. You want to learn how to use and utilize this stuff easier? No, effortlessly. Then join the conversation. We're going to be sending out, as people ask for them, information to be involved in. Give you an example. Are there jobs that will always need a human touch? I answered that a little bit ago. Yeah, absolutely. But let me take that a little bit further. Because you don't need a trash man anymore. You need a trash man that trains and then sends them out, and he responds to the AI that's doing the work. That's the job you're going to have now. Again, there's 2 or 3 of you for the jobs that you do. And if you don't, then yeah, those jobs will not be as plentiful if you don't know AI and are uncomfortable in that life. But if you have all the experience and you have AI and you have that in comfort and confidence, you gotta hook up with me, man, because there is a different world out there, whether you know it or not. The younger generation, our kids' generation, whatever that is, I think are the smartest generation that have ever been, except for the baby boomers. No. They're grown. I mean, they know how. All of a sudden, hey, I don't want to work hard. I want to work efficient. We always said that, right? We didn't have the tools. They have the tools. They were born with phones in their hand. So why should I tell my grandparents about AI and about their granddaughter and the safety of AI? That's not going to change. You've always needed to protect your children and embrace and build in and empower with your beliefs, and that's where they draw from. And so, grandchildren are going to now. There's a conflict though a little bit, because grandbabies. I actually, one of my granddaughters just turned 16, sweet 16. Long story. My second oldest son got married as they were going right into college. They were high school sweethearts, and they've been together since that. And he's 38. So Brandon must be 40. Anyway, should have asked him. They called today. They're taking over. that whole group, and you know what? They're taking over because they've earned it, first of all, and they've earned it because we gave them all the technology since they were babies. So it's nothing to them. They don't appreciate that either, by the way. They don't recognize that. I used to have discussions, arguments, hey, no, this is better. This is with one of my sons when he was younger, and probably 17 or something. Anyway, and he said, yeah, look what we're all doing now. We're doing this and this and this and this and this. And we have, these apps and this stuff, and we're making life better. I said, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And thank God you had the generation before you creating all the tools, knowledge, and base that you could do and take that to the next level. Just a fun little example of we got to get this stuff together. And it's not hard. It is not hard. The subject matter is not hard. The language in one of my classes is not hard. The language is totally different, but here's the beauty. I'm starting to put together like voice apps that feed automation and the writing, the software, the writing of code is there because it recognizes me because I've been training it. That's my job now. Isn't that a cool job? I'm training it to react to certain things. Email comes. It asks me if I want to respond to it. I say, yeah, please. I'm involved in this. Would you send him or her a reply saying, the in the balance of their question, utilizing your knowledge of and then they do it. They create it, and then they get confirmation it's gone. Wouldn't you like that all day long? I mean, seriously, AI is never going to take your job. It's never going to take over. It may adjust your job, and it. Okay, I'm going to take this one step further, and then I'll get back to some of the questions that people have been zapping me with. How long we've been on? No, didn't say. On the live stream, it shows. I did this for the first time because the team wants to do some work with the information out of this recording. That's weird that I don't have a time though. Oh well, I can't do anything about that right now. So the language and the making. It's not just the language. Then you watch videos and you I went through all this, and I went through a mean oldest son, Brandon, who made me work my ass off to get it done. And he was successful at his mission and his job. We still talk about a lot of different things. He's got a podcast like this. It's called Be Money, and he does a lot of automation, and he does use that automation to create revenue streams, value streams. He also has people come in, teaches them how to use Bitcoin. Same thing on the next level that us aging Americans need to know right now. We need to know, that we can protect ourselves. We need to know that we can use AI automation in daily life. There's been TV shows, I don't remember them, but you know how people in futuristic scenes, they walk into their house and they say, "Hey, Betty, do this," and "Oh, hi, welcome home. I realized you coming in. I already started this. The oven is begun." You just tell it what to do, and as you're walking through your own world, and it's following you around to find out that to make sure that your life is perfect at that moment. In other words, you deserve to relax in the golden years, and if you want to work, you can. If you don't want to work, you don't have to. And what I mean by that is that in the coming world, we're going to have an automation driven, AI driven, crypto driven world that's not very far away. You can learn these tools very easily and what happens is you just tell it what to do. You just some people are better at telling it what to do, telling people what to do than others, but you're talking to something you're training to be your assistant, and that's what they're called, assistants, that on different functions, and the functions are limitless. So there are resources for there's a question that came in. Are there resources for elderly people to start getting into AI? And like I mentioned before, yes, you can do the library, you can do Kindle, different books and reading materials. Look for shows that are on TV, like the National Geographic. I've been talking so much lately. I got to start drinking a lot of water. It's tough. Those are resources for, like us, a whole bunch of things. And when they do discuss it, right, they do a 30-minute episode, a film or something, and the narrator is telling you facts about the visual that's in front of you. What we're proposing to do is we are proposing to create a community that is dedicated, like I said before, to different subjects. And in this aging Americans, there's going to be continual information that will and live, and responses to questions. Then we go into when people get comfortable in a certain space, we get together and really start to dig a little deeper. Now you're pulling from, instead of trying to go from here to here, I don't know where I am, from here to here, you go from here to here, you get a base. Producer Barbie is working with actually a friend of mine. As a matter of fact, we interviewed him on this show. We had a discussion with him in his show, in this show. So he, for people who know nothing about trading, and there's all sorts of ways to trade, puts, calls, betting that this will stay here till it gets to this date, and when it does, you get however X amount of money you were told in the beginning. And he teaches how to make that action 80% verifiable. And it tells you why. That's AI, man. I'm telling he's older than me. He's 60. I think he's 68, maybe 69. Because I know, I mean, this dude's pulling it in. I'm telling you. And he's always been smart. So I'm not surprised. But he talks for an hour about a subject to you, if needed, right? You go into any research thing and you'll get a nice little subject, except if you use, I don't know, Chat GPT. If you don't know what that is, you ask anything to that. It goes out and it pulls images and data and details that tell you a defined answer to your question. And when you give it instructions, you can tell it what kind of tone it wants to use, what kind that you want it to use, what kind of how detailed, how deep, specific things that you're looking for. And then you say, do it now, or whatever you say. You click a button, and it's very nice. Great idea, Mr. Duff. This is I'm presenting you with the instructions. Just a very friendly saying. They say, here, take a look, and start within seconds. I mean, literally, it's within seconds of when you hit send. Comes back to you a edited, cleaned up. It didn't take you 2 hours to do it. I mean, it's your voice. It's your or you could feed it in. Either way, you can type it or voice it. I like voice because I use it on my mobile phone from anywhere I am. We have a forest back here behind the office, and my dogs like to go out and run in there, and they like to run around. I like it a lot too. So sometimes I get on the phone and I press this app, and this app has a microphone, and I hit the microphone and I tell what I want to be done in this next marketing release, for example. So there's potential, like with cryptocurrency, you know, there's potential, and people are concerned because of its reputation. And cryptocurrency is something that 4 years ago, I thought wouldn't be for at least a long time. But there's been a shift, and those of you who watch the news and some politics and this and that, cryptocurrency is here. And it's probably, I don't know if it'll be the only trading. Maybe generations from now it'll go into that, because you've seen the movies, Star Trek. They're paying with these, whatever. And so maybe there's that, but realistically, this world's entire financial structure may not go away from the current dollars and cents that we use, or the digital transfers that we use to pay this or that from the bank with a click of a button. Or in some cases, I did something this morning where I took a picture of something, it did the rest. So, folks, listen, there is a lot of learning to do. And you, like me, can take it basically the hard way. Thank you, my son. It wasn't the total hard way. I'd still be working on the first sentence because it's intimidating. It's the verbiage, and then when you get the verbiage, you look at what they're doing, and something's wrong. I don't get what I'm missing, and then they speak their language back to you, and that language is different than something you can collaborate on. Let me see. how safe is AI? That's a choice. I mean, how safe is AI? AI is a lot of things, and like anything, well, hey, the internet has been an awesome tool. The world would not be where it is now without the internet. But let's compare that, right? So is AI dangerous? Was the internet? Is the internet? The internet changed our lives, changed society, changed the human experience forever. AI is going to do that times a million or whatever, but the same thing applies. You know, on the internet, you get great information, and then you get scumbags and what do they call them, trollers, and you get your kids, sent porn stuff, or these sickos that hang out online, and and there's people that go in there and strip your if you and they're good, if you fall for the game, they strip your however amount that gig is that they're doing, $100. I've heard of stories of like 20, nah, not 20, yeah, $20,000. And I don't know exactly what the scam is, but as you go along, AI is gonna be, it does already. I was talking to another guy that does very similar to this. Great guy. He was on the show a couple of weeks ago. But he is he and I were talking. He doesn't use it because it's not exactly what he needs for it. But somehow I haven't done it or anything, but somehow there's an image of him created by AI, and it looks like him. You've seen these things. I think you probably scan a picture or something, and then you've seen these things where they're absolutely perfect looking. They're too perfect looking. I mean, that's an AI created image. And then he speaks like voice messages, like I was talking about. So it's a similar thing, but it's a different vibe than a person is. And AI is never going to take over the human brain. I mean, AI is a tool that we developed, meaning people, not me, but people developed to do our bidding. And this show about the middle class is about having the right politicians do our bidding. So I'm gonna say this another time here, folks. Being an aging American in today's world, you can't depend on everybody else. In this case, you need to do this. You need to get somebody's help, and somebody that you're not sitting there for 2 weeks and you still have no freaking clue what's going on, or maybe barely a little bit. Oh, I've heard the term blockchain. Web 3.0. Did you know? That's here. Big difference, right? And then the technologies that Elon Musk is providing, like the StarNet and the not aerospace, the space group, underneath the flying group, the aircraft group. Anyway, you got to get this stuff going now, because it doesn't take forever. But the sooner you, like me, it took me, I don't know, a couple of months to get competent. And that's all I need, because from there, you can start telling everything what to do. I have never written code in my life. Actually, I think one time back in high school for a computer class, I think I did it. I had no clue what it was, what it did. Now you give instructions. That's what creates the code to you're my helper this time. Come do this. That's your code, dude. That's writing code. I just wrote code. And I mean, it goes, that's a silly example, but it goes, and it goes way deeper than that. But you know, it's true. I mean, you have the need to be educated, and you have the tools now. Hopefully, you have the tools to be able to use and ask questions and know with comfort, because you have a tool that speaks your language. I mean, you know, this isn't exactly speaking your language, but I am speaking to you like I am right now. Nobody else is going to do that knows much about anything. So let's kind of take some changes together. I mean, this whole thing, cryptocurrency I talked about earlier, blockchain from regular to digital banking. There's some things you really need to know. I'm going to pause you for a second. The producer Barbie is now. Oh, where are you? The producer Barbie is now on the phone. Can I call you right? Here. So I just I'm in the process. Oh man, I've been talking so long. I can't. My mouth is just tired.
Well, you're doing what you do best.
Yes, I am recording a commercial right now. By the way, you are actually on live. I mean, I'm not doing this live. I'm doing it for a recording so that you know, Luca and those guys.
Yeah.
We got a couple of things working together on there. I'm saying things like, do I need to learn blockchain to be safe in the future? You know, and you don't, but there's a world of that to talk about. So anyway, let me call you back, okay?
Okay, bye.
All right, bye. Now, we were talking about investing earlier. You know, 401ks are common. Anybody who works, you know, and you know, that's you're attracted to the healthcare, and you're attracted to the 401k match and all that. And then the market just does what it does depending on what 401k contributor you choose. So, and there's people that are active in that, and then there's people who are like, hey, I got 40 grand in there. Don't know why, but and you know, honestly, that's kind of me. But then there's people who I've worked with all my life, especially since the 80s, 90s, something like when this really became something. Remember, they were arguing. I remember in Congress, they argued against getting rid of pensions and replacing them with 401ks. And there was quite a battle for quite a long time. You know, and we're in the middle of that battle right now with AI. So, you know, you don't need blockchain unless you're investing in crypto. And there's, you know, you've heard Bitcoin and these different things, but it's not magical. There's just a different system, a more technology-driven system than we've ever had before. You know, Trump, the administration, amongst doing a whole bunch of other things, whether you agree or not, and that's not this discussion, but that administration is updating all the radar for the planes throughout the United States airports, and for safety and for efficiency. You know, those things are from the 60s, 70s kind of thing. Believe it or not. I mean, part of our what is the social? Oh, part of our Social Security money is literally in a cave. It's been a tradition for like a couple hundred years. It's been in a cave, and then it gets whatever the amount is. Somebody has to go pick that up, put it in a different spot so you can get your Social Security checks. On and on and on. There's all sorts of things that are changing right now. Is your retirement money at risk? No. Well, let me change that. You remember when this giant company or that giant company spent all your 401ks, your monies, you're out of the fund. 10,000 employees put in a fund, and then the fund master of the company distributes it to the destinations to make your retirement healthy. Now, so that there was some really disgusting and horrifying things that happened to people who lost those pensions, and people not paying into the 401k, meaning companies. Well, at this point, you can change. I mean, this is safer. It is just a. There are potential. I don't know yet. I haven't heard of any. There is a potential. I must assume that there's a little risk in there, just like anybody. Like, for instance, can somebody tap into this? Well, no, they can tap into your computer through the internet, but this is different. This is, I get so crazy, and let me flip this out on everybody. I through experience, I put these things through digitally, or producer Barbie does, and there's constantly security alerts, right? Because digital there is, as a matter of fact, it's really hard to do banking. The traditional I don't know what's wrong with me today. Maybe I'm just so excited. I am. The traditional banks, everybody here banks, I'm sure. I know. But there's security alerts left and right, because they're constantly being taken down. They've been hacked. Cryptocurrency, I don't know if anybody out there knows WhatsApp. Very great tool, awesome tool. WhatsApp is completely encrypted on both sides. And when I say that, it's a different encryption that the credit cards use, and this and that. I can't get into it right now, but that way that crypto is a way that nobody else knows where your money is, or can look for where that money is. I'll give you a little teaser there, but this is an important topic, because we work our whole lives into being able to retire comfortably for the whole life that we've worked our tails off, being the backbone of this great nation of ours, America. It's time for us to sit back and take that reward. Maybe get a little cottage, or go on extra vacations, or things that we do now, pretty much, and less and less. But things that we do now are the things that are going to be no-brainers. I'm serious with AI and automation. You're going to literally see the prices of everything. Automation with AI, and I won't bring up the rest of the stuff. That is going to become so efficient, and the efficiencies already are there. It's like being in cavemen compared to the space shuttle. The things that are coming are critical, and we need to be educated on it. And the biggest reason we need to be educated on it is because we need to make sure that the politicians, no matter what side, I don't care, DR, whatever, but most people live right in the middle. And this whole thing here is getting their attention. The extreme is there. There's so many things. So anyway, I believe that some people are in office that shouldn't be there, or at least no longer be there, because they gave us information to use to accomplish our our desired results. We're the great American middle class. This would not be there if it wasn't for us. And this is not like, ooh, I'm so angry. This is, hey, it's our time. We have never taken the challenge to become part of a life that is taken care of for you, like kings and queens, but way better. I could go on forever here. No, your Social Security money isn't going to be in jeopardy. Your retirement money is going to be safer, like we said. There's always risks in life, but there's not much here. So, and I only say that because I'm becoming extremely comfortable in the world, and I can think about it in a way that's logical. It's not fancy. It's not practiced. It's not rehearsed. It's comfortable. It's come on, get in here. Let's do this thing. With that, I am Rod Duff, and this is Insights and Straight Talk with myself, your host, and producer Barbie. And with that, I'm out.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.